All right, what's up, co-counsels? I had no plans of being up here tonight, but I had to come up here tonight because I have a lot of catching up to do. Okay, Nick Kassotis took the stand. I did not watch. Unfortunately, I could not watch his testimony because I had a deposition this morning, and I watched the very first part because my deposition, my client did not arrive until like 9:30. But when I heard Doug say the client intends on taking the stand, I had to text Callie. I'm like, Nick is about to take the stand. Let's get into it, though. Let us get into this because I am in disbelief. I'm in utter disbelief. I just, ugh. Okay, Nick.
Down there. There is no evidence, Your Honor, that the member just there was testimony.
All right. The motion for directed verdict.
Her blood was in it.
Any reference to polygraph in this case?
Oh, go back. Oh, my eyes hurt.
He would mention.
Well,
my eyes hurt. I don't.
U.S. Constitution.
I don't quite know what I'm about to get into, because Nick has already done a lot of talking, though. So
that there is only to rely on the court's research that there's no nexus between the deer processing.
I do have some concerns about count 7 and count 8, section 24-14-9.
This part.
That to authorize a conviction on guilt of the accused. In that regard, the court believes there is an abundance of evidence that.
Come on, let's get to Nick.
Mr. Weinstein, has your client made a decision as to whether or not he will testify this morning?
He has made a decision, Your Honor. My client wishes to testify.
All right. Do you mind if I make an inquiry of him?
I would appreciate.
I mean, Doug does not even seem sure. He does not even seem sure about his client testifying. He's stuttering. I mean, Doug always stutters, though. I stuttered too, but.
Decision, Your Honor. My client wishes to testify.
That man's not sure.
All right. Do you mind if I make an inquiry of him?
I would appreciate you doing that, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
Nick has a lot of confidence. The lawyer is a little shaky, but he's getting up there. Hold on. Last time, I just need to do that one more time.
He has made a decision, Your Honor. My client wishes to testify.
All right. Do you mind if I make an inquiry of him?
I would appreciate you doing that, Your Honor.
Okay.
That's a confident man.
All right. Sir, I've just been informed by your counsel that you intend to testify today. I do need to advise you that under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution and also the Georgia Constitution, that you have a right against self-incrimination. That is, you have a right to remain silent. Do you understand that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are you willing to give up that right and take the stand and testify under oath?
Yes, I am, Your Honor.
And you understand that once you testify, that you will be subject to a full, thorough, and sifting cross-examination consistent with Georgia law.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had sufficient time to discuss this with your attorney?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And is this your decision?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And it is your decision alone?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
May I also put on the record that I did advise my client of his constitutional rights with regard to this. So,
Oh, Weinstein, he's a little shaky. He's trying to cover his butt.
thorough consultation.
Is that correct, sir?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right, very well.
Thank you.
Please be seated.
Your Honor, in light of that, I advised the court yesterday that I might have some motions in limine with respect to.
All right, come on.
Bring notice and I
Let's get
from
to-
the idea irrelevant.
The thing is, I'm a little undecided about whether we start with direct and then move on to cross. We have limited time. I'm a little too excited. Maybe let's start with direct and then skip to cross.
There will be no subject matter of Alex Murdaugh brought into this.
Mr. Murdaugh has his own problems.
He certainly does.
Well, Judge, he's indicated that, but he has not referenced Mr. Frank Megan IV. I have obviously no objection to him discussing any questions about his somehow involvement in this case, but it appeared that he was trying to go, counsel Mr. Weinstein was trying to go into Mr. Mebben's job history, where he worked, things of that nature. I don't see how that's relevant in any way to this case.
And I think counsel concedes.
Yeah, we are not going to get into any of, any issues with respect to Frank Mebben IV, except with respect to perhaps the living arrangements that they had and Mr. Mebben requesting that, or forcing my client and Mindy Kassotis to leave their home.
Thank you.
No objection to that. Your Honor.
All right, so we're ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring the jury in.
All right, let's get to Mr. Kassotis taking the stand. I cannot fathom this. Can't do it.
Sure.
I don't know that he has sisters, or maybe he does. Why are you handling evidence without gloves on? You must have a lot of faith in them folks. I have to do my back to school shopping. I have not started yet. This is not good.
All right, everyone has now rested its case. May proceed for the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense calls Nicholas Kassotis to the
That's
stand.
crazy to me. That's just crazy to me.
Please raise your right hand and take the oath.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Mr. Kassotis, would you please state your name and spell it?
Nicholas
Stark.
James Kassotis, Nicholas,
He was gonna say Stark.
and my last name is Kassotis. Though at this time that is not my legal name.
Would you please tell the jury your legal name?
Nicholas Killian James Stark, Stark.
I can't take this. Like, this is too much for me, but okay.
And would you spell that? The
Hold on, I'm
Killian
sharing my
James.
screen.
Oh, Killian is Kilian, and James is James.
Okay.
Where were you born?
I was born in Peterborough, New Hampshire.
Where did you grow up?
Fitzwilliam, New Hampshire. It is a very small town directly on the Massachusetts border. Small rural New Hampshire. You talk about one stoplight towns, and we don't even have a full stoplight. It's one of those flashing ones.
Alexa, remind me
Tell us about the
shopping
region
2
you grew
hours.
up in. What was it like?
It's a rural area. It's heavily forested. I grew up on a dirt road, kind of in the middle of the woods. We have kind of regional high schools because all the surrounding towns are too small, so we have to put enough people together to fill a school.
What kind of recreational activities took place in that neck of the woods?
A lot of hunting, normal outdoor things, hiking,
Okay,
swimming. We lived about a mile from a lake.
What activities did you participate in?
I ran, I hiked. I loved being outdoors. I still love being outdoors. So a lot of kind of exploring, as some members of my family will say, sometimes getting a little too close to wildlife for my own safety. But
Please tell the jury about your education.
after high school, I went to Boston University for college. I got my bachelor's there in 2004, and then I went to the Northeastern University School of Law, also in Boston. I got my JD, which is your basic law degree.
Okay.
Following your JD, what career did you pursue?
I passed the Massachusetts bar that year and
Oh.
joined the United States Navy as a judge advocate.
Okay. Please tell the jury about your time in the Navy.
Yeah, I went on active duty starting in early 2008 after completing some training. We have what's called Officer Development School and then Naval Justice School, and then I reported to my first duty station in Norfolk, Virginia, where I was a defense attorney and a legal assistance attorney. While I was there, I also ran a couple of our smaller offices, and I deployed twice. I deployed once on short
This man was more a soldier than a lawyer. Okay.
notice on the USNS
I
Comfort. I was
question.
we
I question.
would say the staff judge advocate. It's kind of just like an in-house lawyer for the mission commander. It was a humanitarian mission to Central America, South America, and the
Yeah,
Caribbean.
that's more like it. This man did not do real criminal work. Okay. I mean, but there's also murder, right? There's also murder. So I don't know. I don't know.
And on the ship for 4 or 5 months. I also deployed to Iraq, where I was stationed in Baghdad at a base called Camp Cropper, and I was doing.
Now that I'm listening to Nicholas Stark talk, some jurors might, listen to him because he served in the military. Some people are like that.
Issues related to detainees. The military captures a lot of people, and they have legal cases in Iraqi courts. They have legal rights and obligations that we have to give them. They're being interviewed by various things, and there was a lot of various legal issues that we had that I worked on.
What about your career following Iraq?
After I finished up in Norfolk, I was there on and off for 3 years with the deployments. I transferred to Region Legal Service Office, EURAFSWA, as we call it, Europe, Africa, and Southwest Asia. I was stationed in Sigonella, Sicily, at Naval Air Station Sigonella. There I was a prosecutor, and I was again, kind of a legal advisor to the commands on base, to the base commander, things of that nature.
Sure.
Tell us about your time as a prosecutor.
I handled court martials in the military, also some administrative boards, folks getting kind of thrown out.
Yeah, that's what I talked about previously, because I did have some limited contact with, JAG advocates. And sure enough, they may be called prosecutors and public defenders. They did not do what we were doing in the trenches.
A lot of sexual assaults, unfortunately. That is the most common crime I think we see at the court-martial level in the military. But some drug use cases, thefts, things of that nature.
You mentioned sexual assault, drug use cases. Any other types of
people have
crimes that you
mistaken.
prosecuted that you can recall right now?
Not that I can recall.
Were you also a defense attorney?
I was a defense attorney in Norfolk.
What types of crimes were you defending against there?
Also, mainly sexual assaults. Sometimes I had a kind of an odd case that was somebody had refused, or hadn't refused. I would argue they hadn't refused, but had not taken a required urinalysis drug test, and that wound up at a court martial. Some hazing cases, kind of some interesting drug use, things of that nature. I think one assault.
Did you eventually end up in the Pentagon?
I did. After Italy, I was stationed at the Pentagon for a couple years. When I first got there, I was an administrative law attorney. So anytime the military is trying to promote somebody, not promote somebody, fire somebody, it requires legal review, and it would wind its way through our office on its way to the 3-star admiral, who was kind of the head of our community. And after that, I stayed. I moved to the office right next door. What was then called our International and Operational Law Division. Now it's called the National Security Law Division. I was the Chief of International Affairs, I believe was my job title.
What do you mean you believe it was your job title? It was your job. How don't you know?
I managed international agreements that the Navy has with navies and countries all over the world.
This man was not in the trenches, okay? Sure enough, he's licensed. He's a lawyer by profession. This was no prosecutor. This was no defense attorney.
Did you get any further education while you were with the Navy?
I did. While I was at the Pentagon, I started going at night to get my LLM, which is a master's in law. And I got that at Georgetown University Law Center in national security law, focusing mostly on cybersecurity and privacy-related issues.
Can you tell us more about cybersecurity?
Cybersecurity.
You studied?
Yeah, anything from cyber investigations and prosecutions to compliance. What companies have to do when they retain your data, which, as as I think we probably all know, companies know everything about us these days. So, what they have to do to protect them, under their regulatory rules, how they can use things, what they're allowed to do.
At some point, did you leave the Pentagon?
I did. I left in, I want to say September of 2017. I left active duty.
Why?
And where did you go from there?
At that point, I went to a Department of the Navy job with the Board for Correction of Naval Records. When it is mostly when folks leave the military, there are other things that they do, but for the most part, when folks leave the military and don't have the discharge that they want, we talk about honorable discharges, and then there are 4 that aren't as good. Sometimes either months or years later, they want to try to upgrade that to a better discharge, and those cases are reviewed by the Board for Correction of Naval Records.
But you were no longer with the Navy at that point. Is that correct?
I was not a member of the Navy. I was a civilian working for the Navy, and I was a Navy reservist at that time.
When did you cease being a Navy reservist?
I think officially I ceased being a Navy reservist in the fall of 2019, fall of 2019, but I'm not exactly sure of that date. I had stopped drilling. By drilling, we mean when people talk about the
Us men talks.
reserves, it's that 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. I had stopped.
What's up, Benji? Benji, I showed up here. I had to show up here. It was not planned. But Nicholas Stark, or Nicholas Kassotis, aka Jim McIntyre, took the stand today in his own defense. I was shocked. When Doug Weinstein said his client was going to take the stand. Unfortunately, I did not get to watch the testimony. I watched closing, but I was not able to watch the testimony because I had a deposition. So I was working. But how are things? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Doing that 1 weekend a month sometime before that in anticipation of leaving the reserves.
What's the process for when you leave the active duty in the Navy?
You have to write a request, and it goes through your immediate boss, and then it winds up in Millington, Tennessee, at Navy Personnel Command, where it is either you are allowed to leave or you were told no for some reason.
Is there a letter of resignation?
There is a letter of recommendation.
I'm sorry. 1 second. Please let me finish
Oh, yeah,
the
I'm
question
sorry.
before you respond. So, is there a letter of resignation that goes along with that?
Yes, there is.
What did you state in your letter of resignation, if you recall?
If I recall, it was that I wanted more geographic stability and more professional stability. So the Navy JAG Corps puts a lot of emphasis on both moving constantly and also taking a lot of different jobs. They want people who are very well-rounded. They can plug into any job at a moment's notice, which is obviously useful for the military, but I wanted to be able to concentrate more professionally.
When did you leave the Naval Reserve?
That was, I believe, fall 2019.
Did that also have a resignation process involving a letter?
It did.
And what did you state in that letter, if you recall?
If I recall correctly, at that point it was...
Sir, why wouldn't you remember that?
I talked about some health issues that my wife Mindy was going through.
What? I really don't have time for Nick Kassotis today, but I'm going to have to fast forward. I'll give it another 15 minutes and then I want to get to cross.
Let's go back a little bit.
Okay.
To your time in the Navy. Tell us about your personal life during that time.
When I arrived in Norfolk, I was single, and several months later, I met then Heather Bassett, who I later married.
Do you recall when you married Heather Bassett?
September 26th, 2009.
Okay.
Tell us about that marriage.
It was not great. We had a lot of issues, I think, kind of throughout, to the point where I later heard the night before our wedding, she told somebody publicly that she didn't think it was going to last. We had, I was deployed a lot. I was deployed for a large chunk of our engagement. I was deployed within 2 months of us getting married. I don't think either of those is also a good step for marital success. but I think we had a lot of disagreements kind of throughout our marriage.
What kind of disagreements did you have?
Things about money, about career moves, about children.
What were the disagreements about children?
When we had started dating, Heather had stated that she wanted children and that it would be relatively easy for her to have children. Well, she had
This doesn't even
uh,
sound right, though. Relatively easy. Who speaks, or maybe Heather speaks that way. But how old was Heather? I don't know. Let's keep going, though. I do not recall Heather being crossed about her uh, ability or her ease or difficulties having children. Maybe I missed it.
something called PCOS.
Oh,
I'm not really sure what you would call it. It's
polycystic.
not a
Oh, right,
disease. It's a
right. I remember.
syndrome of some type. That there were medications she could take that would make it very easy down the line for her to have children.
Did you ever have children with Miss Bassett?
I did not. No. We discussed it many times. At one point, we both got tested to see if everything was in working order, but she chose not to take the medication that and therefore we never had children. I don't believe there was never a pregnancy or the attempt of a pregnancy.
When did you tell me about the end of your marriage to Heather?
In sometime in 2015, we had been having, I wouldn't even say issues because we weren't arguing, but she was gone a lot. She was spending nights at friend's house, which was unusual. She was not around much. And at one point when she was around, she asked me to help her print a document from her computer. And while I was doing that, a Facebook message popped up on it that was obviously romantic in nature. She kind of snatched it away and said, "Oh, I just remembered how to print on here." And I started, I guess,
Who would be printing Facebook messages? I don't know. And I'm not saying that Heather was not cheating, but I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
into what was going on. And about a week later, I confronted her. At the time, I took a recording of the conversation. But I said I knew that she was seeing somebody. She told me that she'd been seeing a coworker of hers for some time, a man named Anthony Thomas.
Oh my, not Anthony.
And she left that day and moved to his house, and then kind of moved back, I believe, the next day, and we talked about things for a little while. She continued to see him, and then she moved out again back into his house.
Did you eventually get divorced?
We did. I filed for divorce on September 1st of 2015, and it was granted about a month and a half later, if memory serves, sometime in October.
Were you represented by counsel during that divorce?
I was not.
Was Heather?
She was not.
You said the divorce was finalized about a month later?
Roughly, yes. It was October of 2015.
Do you know if Heather ever remarried following your divorce?
She did. The following day, she married
That's crazy.
Tony, as he goes by,
That is crazy.
the man that she was seeing, that she told me she was seeing during our marriage.
All right.
When did you meet Mindy Kassotis?
I met Mindy on September 18th, 2015.
How did you meet?
Wait, so you met Mindy while you're still going through a divorce?
We had met on a dating website called OkCupid, and we had talked for, I don't know, maybe a week or so, and then we met at a restaurant in Alexandria, Virginia.
Do you recall where you met?
Yeah, it was called Blackwall Hitch. It's a restaurant kind of right down by the water. It's a nice little spot.
And you eventually married Mindy Mabane Kassotis, correct?
Fairly
Or Mebane,
quickly.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, it was, I would say within a month we were talking about marriage. Starting to look at wedding venues. It happened very quickly, and we married just over a year later on October 9th, 2016.
At the time that you married Mindy Mabane Kassotis, you still had obligations under your divorce decree to Heather, correct?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall the specific obligations that you had?
Yes, there were two loans that we were both on: a personal loan where we had refinanced some credit cards, if I remember correctly, and a Chevy Silverado. And later, I was also at that point living in the marital property and making payments on the mortgage. But later on, she asked because that had been purchased under her VA mortgage. You know, for people who are veterans, they have the right to a VA mortgage. It had been purchased under her VA mortgage, right? So she asked me to work on refinancing and removing her from that so that she could use her VA mortgage for home purchase with Tony.
Okay.
Were you able to do that refinancing?
I was not. No, I had started the process. I paid for an attorney because
These parents are stressed out by Nick. These parents are stressed out. They look like they have not been sleeping.
was deed work required. It was kind of a
Obviously,
lengthy process, and by the time it was reaching fruition, a lot of other things were going wrong.
Did you fulfill any of the other obligations that were required to be fulfilled in your divorce decree from Heather?
Some of them, there was a lump sum payment, I believe, of $3,000 to pay off a bill that I paid off, and
paid off
I was working on other things, but they did not come to pass.
Did Heather eventually pursue you for your failure to fulfill your obligations?
She did.
What did she do?
She filed some sort of a complaint in court saying that I was not fulfilling my obligations under a divorce decree.
How did that resolve itself?
I believed that it resolved itself in an agreement and then a payment to her.
What was the agreement on what you were supposed to pay Heather in that resolution?
In that resolution, I was supposed to pay her roughly $1.5 million.
Did you make that payment?
I believe
That's insane to me. That is just, Nick probably should have gotten a lawyer for the divorce because we know he's not a real lawyer. And it's insane. That's just, no.
the payment was made on my behalf. I did not actually make the payment, but I saw documentation and
Wait,
I
what?
made on $1.5 million.
Did you make that payment?
I believed the payment was made on my behalf. I did not actually.
Why
make
would
the
you
payment,
believe
but
that?
I saw documentation and
What
I believed at the
documentation?
time that it was made. I had no reason not to.
What?
I believe you told the court you had $32 million. Is that correct?
That's what I was told. That's what I had been provided.
I cannot take this. I cannot take this. What?
Documentation to show.
I have so many questions. $32 million from whom? Who informed him of this? Why did he believe he has $32 million? Did he have access to the 32? What?
Let's go ahead and get into that.
Yes, sir.
You said things began to get weird. Can you explain that to the jury and also explain about the timeframes for that?
Yes. In 2017, we were discussing my upcoming departure from active duty. We were discussing, starting a family, several things. And Mindy was very actively watching all of our spending because she wanted to make sure that we were in the best position financially. And she started noticing odd deductions from our accounts that weren't tied to anything that we were doing. Sometimes they seemed to be, the ones she showed me were.
I'm sorry. I need to move to cross-examination. Let's move to cross-examination because we have limited availability. Let's see. When do they get into cross? Is it now? All right. Okay, why is he standing? Oh, maybe the jury. Okay. All right, Nick. Alexa, stop.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Counsel, you may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Mr. Kassotis, or Mr. Stark, you indicated that you were a officer in the Judge Advocate General Corps, correct?
Yes, I was.
And you were in that capacity for over 10 years, right?
Roughly 10 years.
You went to Boston University College.
Yes, I did.
You went to Northeastern Law for your JD.
Yes, I did.
And then you got your LLM in cybersecurity from Georgetown, correct?
It was in national security.
I know I'm looking at Nick's parents, or at least his side of the family. I've noticed that the brother is a little distant as far as, where they're sitting. He's a little distant from everybody else. I don't know that it means anything, just an observation.
Emphasis in cybersecurity.
Okay. All prestigious schools, right?
Yes.
You did very well in school, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And as a JAG officer, you indicated that you were both a defense attorney and a prosecutor during your term as an officer in the JAG.
Yes, ma'am.
Be fair to say that the Navy requires JAG officers to be very on top of your cases, right?
Absolutely.
To be careful with records, correct?
Correct.
To be careful with what you send to whom, correct?
Absolutely.
You check and double check pretty much everything, right?
Sometimes many more checks than that.
You never looked at Jim McIntyre's credentials, right?
Ooh,
Correct.
not Jim.
Now, I just want to start with some of the things that we have in evidence.
I like this
Showing you
prosecutor.
2.26C. This is the photograph from Home Depot. That's you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's crazy. I don't know. Deny maybe? I don't know.
And that receipt that's attached to that
Why would this?
from November 29th of 2022. That's also you, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Says your name on the receipt, correct?
I believe it does. Yes.
It also says that you bought the Milwaukee Smooth Blade insulation knife on November 29th of 2022 at 8:56 a.m., correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you saw the testimony from Special Agent Bernie with the FBI, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
And that showed that your vehicle, your phone, and your business record put you in the vicinity of that Home Depot, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't dispute that, do you?
No, ma'am.
And in fact, you then watched as he showed all of the different waypoints of your vehicle traveling down towards Riceboro, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's
You don't
crazy.
dispute that that was your car, right?
No, ma'am.
You don't dispute that that was your phone, right?
No, ma'am.
And you don't dispute that that was you in the vehicle at the time.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay.
Why did this man get on the stand? What was the purpose of him getting on the stand? The one thing I'm disappointed with the defense case as a whole. I'm disappointed in Doug Weinstein's inability to cross-examine. But I always wondered why everybody on Nick's side is in the courtroom. I would have had somebody on that stand, a mother, a father, a brother. I would have had somebody else take the stand besides Nick.
You
I don't
saw
know,
the records
girlfriend.
introduced concerning the 2022 Ford Explorer purchased from J.C. Lewis, correct?
Correct.
And I'm pointing to 1.19. Do you recall seeing those business records introduced here in court?
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't dispute that you bought that car, correct?
I do not dispute that.
You don't dispute you paid cash for it?
It was a check, but yeah,
It was the full amount.
conversationally, yeah, you paying cash rather than financing. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you bought that car under your own name, correct?
Yes.
And that purchase was
I believe it was July 27th of
He knows the dates.
2022.
right, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when you bought that vehicle, that did not have a police intercept package on that vehicle, correct?
I don't believe so. I'm not sure what a police intercept package is, though.
Yeah, I don't know
Right.
what that is either.
Because if it did, you would have paid extra for options, right?
Right. I mean, there were options on there that I did pay extra for. I assume that anything else would have been also additional.
Now, you also purchased $2.25C.
What is she handling
Not
evidence
this
without gloves
specific
on?
kit, but one that looked just like it, correct?
I believe so, ma'am.
This was a 7-piece deer processing kit, correct?
That's what it says, ma'am.
Well, you saw the business records from Bass Pro, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And they indicated that you purchased that item, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't dispute that you did, correct?
No, ma'am.
And it's your testimony in court here today that you are not a hunter, correct?
That is correct.
You were not going hunting on November 29th of 2022, correct?
No, ma'am, I was not.
That's just, why did this man take the stand? I need somebody to explain that to me. Why did Nicholas Stark take the stand? Because under these circumstances, right, if Nick absolutely had to take the stand, he would take the stand to explain away things that make him look guilty. He is not doing that here. And that's not to say a jury might, convict, what is this, acquit him. They might be deadlocked. But his decision to take the stand is really baffling.
And just so we're
So why'd you buy the
clear,
kit?
I'm gonna show you States Exhibits 1.21, 1.22, 1.23, and 1.24. Do you recognize that car?
What car?
It looks like the same make and model car that I had.
And you don't dispute that you were down in a large wooded area on November 29th of 2022 at the time referenced in that photograph.
I don't really recall where I was, ma'am.
Oh, okay. No, he doesn't recall. Let me get comfortable because Nick's about to sell us something. All right.
You don't recall where you were?
Right.
Okay.
Would you
But just a
dispute?
moment ago, you said you didn't dispute that that was your path of travel that Agent Bernie displayed for the jury, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm publishing to the jury. Photograph 1.1, rather 1.21.
Nicholas Stark.
You saw Agent Sands testify, correct, concerning 1.117?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a Marathon gas station, correct?
I can't quite see it, but I believe so. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is.
And there's also a business record attached there, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's from your Renaissance Bank records, correct?
I believe so, ma'am.
That was your vehicle, your card, and you that was present at the vicinity of 13689 East Oglethorpe Highway, Midway, on November 29th of 2022, correct?
I believe so, ma'am.
Nobody else swiped your card, right? That was you.
I believe so, ma'am. Yes, I do not have any reason to believe that was not me.
You didn't report your car stolen, right?
No, ma'am.
Didn't report your phone stolen?
No, ma'am.
Didn't report your wallet stolen?
No, ma'am.
So all along, you've always had possession of those, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was your testimony that also you were told to turn your phone off, correct?
Yes,
By
ma'am.
whom?
And in fact, you saw Agent Bernie demonstrate the time gap of approximately 2 hours when your phone was off and still in the area of the Portal Hunting Club, correct?
I'm not sure where the phone was during that time, but
What do you?
Just turn-
Okay. We're gonna leave Nick alone and just listen. Let's just listen to Nick.
but
What was with you, wasn't it?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. It was off, but on your person.
Or in my car.
Okay. And it's your testimony that you brought a black and a gray tote to that area, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Why did this guy take the stand? Can you put some gloves on?
so your testimony, that's not your tote?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
What? So why did you take the stand? Why did you take the stand? What on earth? Let me look at Doug Weinstein. I need to look at his reaction. What is this man doing up here? I need to look
So
at
your
that.
testimony, that's not your tote?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
That is your tote.
No, ma'am, it is not. My testimony is that it is not my tote.
So the other one, the gray one, that's also not
There we go. That's better testimony, because
your tote?
I would call that the gray one, ma'am, but I believe that that is also not my tote.
that's better testimony. I thought he was up there to admit everything.
My apologies. These two totes are not your totes?
That is correct.
There are two random black and gray totes that showed up on November 29th of 2022 in the vicinity of the Portal Hunting Club, and they're not yours?
Objection, that's the answer.
Overruled.
I'm not sure when they turned up, ma'am, but they are not mine. I can explain why if you would like.
You know how the process works, Mr. Kassotis.
Okay, ma'am.
You heard the testimony that Mindy's blood was inside of those totes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you heard the testimony that there were cleansing wipes recovered in the vicinity, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And also, the knife.
Yes, ma'am.
So to your testimony, this is not the knife you purchased on November 29th, 2022 at Home Depot.
That is definitively not the knife that I purchased at Home Depot.
Do you see the cleansing wipes on the knife at the photographs of the crime scene?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
To your testimony, you didn't clean this knife off, right?
That is correct, ma'am. I have never seen that knife before. It was
Okay.
introduced as evidence.
I've never seen that woman a day in my life.
This knife just happened to be there in the vicinity of the same black and gray colored totes that you referenced in your interview to law enforcement, correct?
I don't believe it just happened to be there, ma'am, but it was there.
And it was your testimony, correct me if I'm wrong, that you bought the deer processing kit to give to somebody as a gift?
Yes, to Mindy's younger brother, Matthew.
It was important
Wow.
to Mindy that
So so the one person, not the one person, because I think the other brother did not testify. I don't know. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
you get him something he liked, right?
I believed so, but though I now have reason to question whether those messages were coming from Mindy or not.
But you don't have any reason to say otherwise other than that you're guessing, correct?
Correct.
But something so important to Mindy, you just left it at the house when you moved out, right?
I was extremely upset when I moved out, and I left a lot of things there.
So that was a yes, you left it at the house?
Yes, ma'am.
You never gave it to Matthew?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I suppose.
You heard testimony from Samantha, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was your
Third
third wife at the time, correct?
At the time, yes, ma'am.
you heard about the relationship leading up to you meeting her in person, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you started talking to her as early as late September 2022, correct?
I believe so, ma'am. I'm not 100% sure, but that sounds right.
Well, you saw the text messages, right?
I didn't actually look at them that closely, but if they say late September, that would be.
Okay, so he did not look. I don't even know what to say about Nick at this point, but I will let him continue. What's up, Jason? Jason says, can Nicholas get one juror to buy his story? I think a sympathetic juror for Nick will be somebody that has great respect for veterans. I think that's the angle they play. Other than that, I have real questions and real concerns. I don't understand why Nick took the stand. Somebody else should have taken the stand on his behalf. A mom, a father, a sibling, an ex-girlfriend, a high school teacher, a first grade teacher, somebody but Nick. What do you think about his testimony, Jason? Because I'm just getting into it. Did not watch all of the direct because I was working. I had a deposition today. Cross, I'm just getting into Cross, but I did watch the closing.
Correct. It was either late September or early October. I'm not 100% sure.
All right, Nick.
Those messages were not sent by Signal, correct?
Correct.
They were sent on social media, correct?
Correct.
Those messages were sent by you, correct?
I believe so.
What do you mean you believe so?
Well, here. Let me give you two specifically to look at.
Yeah, well, you did you
1.95
send
and
them? Did you not send
1.98.
them?
Let us know when you've finished looking at them.
In the words of Alec Murdaugh, what a tangled web we weave. Just, I don't even know what to make of this. Are you done?
I'm done, man.
Those are text messages or communications that you sent to Ms. Kolesnik, correct?
Yes.
And during those exchanges, there were several exchanges on a regular basis, correct?
Yeah.
And they started at the end of September of 2022, correct?
Yes.
And ultimately culminated with you going to see her on December 16th of 2022,
That sounds right. Yes.
2 weeks after your wife was deceased.
Yes, ma'am.
But you initiated that relationship before she was dead.
I wouldn't say initiated that relationship, but we were talking.
Okay, who reached
Talked
out
to
to
many
who?
people online.
Well, you drove from Georgia to Missouri, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then from Missouri to Pennsylvania to go see her, right?
Yes, ma'am.
How many
That was good, Cross, because I don't know that the prosecutor believes that Nick first had to go to Missouri, but had she started off with cross-examination saying that he drove from Georgia straight to Pennsylvania, he was going to disagree with that. But then again, maybe she should have just asked because he might have forgotten.
hours was that?
Quite a few. I'm not sure exactly.
But you weren't just talking?
No, at that point we were, we
I don't
had
know.
progressed into more of a relationship, but I'm saying that wasn't how things had started in September.
Right, but on December 16th, 15 days after you told your wife's parents she was dead, you drove to Pennsylvania from Missouri, correct?
15 days after I learned my wife was dead.
Oh my goodness.
October 22nd of 2022, you told your
Oh, the mother can barely keep up.
told Mrs. Kolyesnik or Miss Kolyesnik on 1.95, She had an undiagnosed heart issue that was aggravated by her pregnancy.
What date?
You told Mrs. You told Mrs. Kolyesnik,
Date?
October 22nd of 2022, you told Mrs.
Mother.
Kolyesnik or Miss Kolyesnik on 1.95, she had an undiagnosed heart issue that was aggravated.
I don't know how you explain that one away, though. How do you go around telling your third wife that your second wife is deceased while she's still alive? That doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. Maybe somebody buys it, but I don't get that.
Yes, ma'am.
Very sudden change in the way I thought life.
Why did this man get on the stand? Because he's just there to agree with the prosecution. Why did he do that?
But doing my best now to figure it out, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You were tugging on her heartstrings, weren't you?
No, ma'am.
No, he
You
was.
weren't trying to convince her you were single and available?
No, ma'am, I was not. That was a very similar conversation to one I had with any number of people, male and female.
That's crazy.
Friends.
I don't believe that. But a few days ago, I did question whether Nick was talking to other people at the same time.
Right, because you had a conversation going on with Joy when you thought Mindy was going to die in COVID, correct?
Correct.
So that was another woman you were chatting with that you
Joy?
told this jury
I think this is what
was a
Kevin
woman you had a
told me.
relationship with
Correct.
while you were still married.
While I was still married, ma'am.
But this one wasn't.
No, ma'am.
1.98, you indicated on November 8th of 2022, while terrified for your life and staying in the house exclusively but to run errands, going to spend this weekend in Virginia, then New York,
Right.
Bedford, Hudson Valley area, then on to New England until after Thanksgiving. So hopefully going to spend a little time poking around and seeing how a few spots feel in terms of life there. That was not true.
That was not true, ma'am.
You weren't trying to convince her to trust you?
No, ma'am.
Then what were you trying to do?
Why make that up?
Yeah,
That was something we were regularly told to do. Say that we would be in different places, and then if
I just cannot. I cannot with Nick. Who told him to do this?
That up.
that was something we were regularly told to do. Say that we would be in different places, and then if there was a concern, it would be somewhere that we weren't.
So Jim told you what to say in each of your text messages to Samantha?
Not in each, but it was something he would generally say.
No, I forgot about Jim McIntyre. So, okay.
Tell people that you're going to be traveling for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so when he told Samantha that he'd be traveling to Pennsylvania to see her, I cannot make sense of what Nick Kassotis is selling right now. It just does not make sense to me.
And then if there was a concern, it would be somewhere else.
Oh, wow. I don't know, Jason, I'm going to ask you the same question. Is there a juror somewhere out there that believes what Nick Kassotis is saying? Because I cannot make sense of this. I just cannot make sense of this. They should have put somebody else on the stand. A childhood friend, an ASAP 12E, somebody, not Nick.
After you found out that Mindy had passed,
I like the way she puts it.
you testified to this jury you never got a single document of any sort from the doctors, correct?
That is correct.
You just told this jury that you were a JAG officer, correct? For 10 years.
I was.
You checked every detail, right?
Yes.
Verified everything, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't get a single document at any point in any of the time after her death?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Death certificates, 1.68. They're registered with the state of Georgia. You're aware of that, right?
I am.
You never got a single copy of a document from a courthouse?
No, ma'am. I asked about it once and I should have followed up, but I did not.
You yourself as an attorney never got a single document.
No, ma'am. I didn't have any reason to have a document, and so I
I
felt
just, Nick. Your wife died. Your wife died at some random facility. Why would you not have a need to get that documentation? I just,
once and I should have followed up, but I did not.
You yourself as an attorney never got a single document.
No, ma'am. I didn't have any reason to have a document, and so I failed to follow up on it.
You were on trial for murder. Correct?
Ma'am, I was not.
In anticipation of today, in your testimony, you knew you were on trial for murder, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't bring a single court document with you.
Well, ma'am, I believe the testimony is fairly clear that I was lied to about Mindy's death, and that I did
lied
not
to by whom? I just,
have a document because there were no documents.
You worked for APIS Security, correct?
I believe
I
so,
mean,
ma'am.
we've looked up APIS. There's no APIS in America. I found an APIS in India. I also found an APIS that's tied to the UK government. I just, wow.
No W-2, right?
And that's exactly what I talked about. I do not understand. These women must have been really gullible. I do not understand why Samantha took that to whom it may concern letter at face value. You ask for pay stubs. Even pay stubs are not sufficient. Like, you need to see that stuff in I don't know. Let's move on.
At some point, I saw W-2, but
What do you
you
mean you
weren't.
saw?
no, ma'am. I believe there was one in Discovery, but I don't recall.
You do. You believe there was one in Discovery?
I believe so, ma'am.
Can you tell us what document that was?
I can't recall. I believe it was a tax document.
Was there a W-4,
I don't recall. I'm not sure what a W-4 is, ma'am.
an I-9,
No, ma'am.
no tax documents?
No. I-9s are for immigration.
Who's this lady up here? I-9 is not for immigration. That's employee verification. Who's this lady, though? I've asked about this before. She's amused.
Proving that you're a citizen. So
What about tax records? You got paid, right?
it was paid into a trust, ma'am.
Oh,
So
well.
you have zero records reflecting being paid by APIS Security, correct?
Well, I have the records that you provided to me during Discovery. But
1.84. You provided Samantha with an employment verification, correct?
yes, ma'am.
That's crazy.
You indicated you worked for them February 12th, 2018 to present. That was January 12th of 2023, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You never got a single paycheck?
Not paid to me. No.
So for 5 years, you worked for a company and got zero money handed to you.
Handed to me. Yes, ma'am.
You opened a bank account, correct?
I've opened. Can you be more specific, ma'am?
You opened Renaissance Bank account, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That was the account we saw the records for, ending in 141, right?
I don't know the number, but I believe so.
You signed it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You went into the bank, right?
No, ma'am.
So that's not your physical signature on there.
It is my physical signature. I believe it was scanned and emailed.
It's your testimony you opened a bank account without going into the bank?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, you can do that, I think. I cannot read the
You
font.
provided Samantha with a driver's license, right?
With a photograph of one, yes.
1.86. This is the license you sent her, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm showing the jury 1.111, which is the same photograph, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're aware that there are no records in the state of Georgia reflecting a change of name to Stark.
I'm aware of that now, ma'am.
What do you mean?
Well, you would have had to change your driver's license, right, sir?
Yes, I assume so.
just okay.
Delaware.
What's up, Brooklyn?
This was issued January 13th, 2023, 1.112.
Brooklyn said Doug cannot wait to get the F out of there. Doug is trying to run. Why do you say that? When
That's
was
you.
that issued?
This was issued January 13th, 2023, 1.112.
Okay, 23. So that has to be right before he gets married to Samantha, because he's getting married to Samantha as Stark and not Kassotis.
That's you, right?
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Is that a current picture of you?
That was current at the time, ma'am.
Publishing to the jury.
Honestly.
It's your testimony that you got one under the name Kassotis because of a glitch at the DMV?
It wasn't a glitch,
illness?
ma'am.
Well, you testified that the Social Security Administration told you it would update in 24 hours your name change, right?
They said likely 24 hours, though there was a chance it would be sooner.
So sooner still, right?
I hoped it would be sooner. That's why I went back to the DMV that afternoon.
Right, but in 1.106, you went on January 4th to change your name, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So it's your testimony that from January 4th of 2023, some 9 days later, it still hadn't updated?
No, ma'am. So there's a difference between the court document, which you go to court to get, and then the Social Security office, which you have to go in there and bring a copy of the court document. to
There's the
start
lawyer.
updating process.
Right, but you said you went the same day as you went to the Missouri.
No, ma'am.
Brooklyn, if you're still here, I want to know. Last night, last night, you pretty much said that you did not believe that the prosecution proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Is that still your position, sir?
I said I went to the Social Security office in Delaware after I returned to the Delaware area from St. Louis.
You submitted driver's licenses for Delaware, Pennsylvania, and a name change in Missouri, all within a week approximately,
I was trying to update my driver's license, yes.
in 3 different states.
No, ma'am. I had gotten the name change in Missouri, which had been our plan from the beginning. I was splitting my time between Delaware and Pennsylvania at the time, and I had gotten one license in Delaware that was not the correct name. I was going to be spending the next part of the next week in Pennsylvania. So the next business day, it was a holiday weekend. It was Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I went
I'd
on
look
that
that up.
Tuesday into a DMV in Pennsylvania, and I got a license with what is now my legal name.
You remember it was a Tuesday, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But you don't know your wife's doctor's name.
Woo.
I was never given her
Whoa.
doctor's name.
You didn't ask?
Ma'am, she wanted.
I asked you a question, sir.
No,
Did you ask?
I did not ask.
She was 8 months pregnant, you said, correct?
Correct.
You never visited her at the hospital,
Yeah, I was told not to.
and you listened?
Yes, ma'am.
First child, right?
I cannot make sense of the need to put Nick Kassotis on the stand. I don't get it. I absolutely do not get it. I don't know what they were expecting, what they were hoping for, but it makes zero sense for this man to be on the stand.
Yes, ma'am.
Desperately wanted kids.
I wouldn't say desperately wanted kids, but I wanted kids.
You've been trying since Heather.
Brooklyn says that client went against Doug's advice and took the stand after the directed verdict was denied. He basically testified that he did it. I don't know that you needed, what's his name again, Nick, to testify. It was very clear I won't say very clear, but there are a lot of unexplained things that do not make sense without Nick Kassotis. So I don't know what to make sense of this. Maybe there's somebody out there in the jury that has a hard time believing that a lawyer would do this. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Right?
Yes. Well,
How
on
many
and
years was
off.
that?
You know, Mindy and I didn't start trying to have kids immediately, but
Well, you testified there was a miscarriage in the middle, correct?
yes, ma'am. That
And that's
miscarriage
the
was.
thing. The one part that I have not been able to, you know, I guess properly consider and come up with an explanation that makes sense to me. The whole pregnancy thing does not make sense to me. I'm still a little puzzled about that. I'm puzzled about whether Mindy believed that she was pregnant and told this information to Nick, or if Nick is the one that told Mindy that she was pregnant, or if both parties knew that Mindy was not pregnant, yet they went along with this um, phantom pregnancy, or if it's Jim, no, what's his name? Is it Jim McIntyre? The whole pregnancy thing I've not been able to make sense of because it doesn't make sense to me. I don't quite understand it. To some extent, it sounds like Mindy had either real issues or she just believed whatever it is that her husband told her. And if she believed whatever her husband told her, that makes me question whether it was Nick Kassotis that actually told her that she was pregnant and she went along with it. But to me, that's very puzzling. As far as motive, I 100% believe that Nick's motive would have been to get rid of Mindy so he can end up in a relationship with Samantha. To me, that is what makes sense. As for all the other stuff, the pregnancy, I'm not very clear about that one.
Was in, gosh, July of 2021.
What is he saying?
You can start trying to have kids immediately, but
Well, you testified there was a miscarriage in the middle, correct?
yes, ma'am. That miscarriage was in, gosh, July of 2021.
So for years, you had been trying to get pregnant,
Yes, ma'am.
and your wife was finally 8 months pregnant and terribly ill, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I believe
And-
so.
And you never went to see her.
What do you mean?
No, ma'am. I was talking to her and checking on her, but I did not physically go there because I did not think.
I
it was-
don't know. Now that he said that he was talking to her, did Mindy have a phone? What about those phone records? Where did that, where was her last ping? I don't remember. Again, I watch this case sporadically, not constantly. So if that has been solved or answered, please let me know. Benji's at work. Okay. No, that's fine, Benji. That's fine. Good to know that you're doing well.
Well, just in your testimony earlier, you said texting, not talking.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so
I
if you're texting, I suppose the prosecution should have closed that gap. They should have requested records for Mindy's phone in order to figure out where she had her last ping.
Use them interchangeably. I'll be more clear.
You never spoke to her.
No,
is
ma'am.
what you're
I
getting
tried
at.
to multiple times, but we couldn't get a good enough signal to have a conversation.
And when you couldn't get her,
I would ask more questions. When was he trying to get in contact with her? What time of the day? What day was it? What were you wearing? What did you eat for lunch? Get more
you
information.
didn't go see her.
No, ma'am.
Who took Mindy to this institution?
You're an attorney
provider?
at the time of all of this, correct?
I don't believe I was at that time. No, ma'am.
Wait, you don't
Wait,
follow
what?
this, correct? You're an attorney at the time of all of this, correct?
I don't believe I was at that
Is
time.
he
no, ma'am.
disbarred?
Wait, you don't forget how to be a lawyer, do you?
No, ma'am. I hope not.
Right? So when you filled out this paperwork for the Missouri change of name, you indicated that you did not owe anybody any judgments,
Ooh.
That was my understanding. Yes, ma'am.
that there were no cases requesting money pending against you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yet you stood in a court of law in front of a judge who told you when to be back to settle what was owed to Miss Thomas, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you didn't go.
I didn't go because I believed that was already settled.
That's crazy.
You're an attorney at
Yeah.
the time, right?
Yes, ma'am. At that time, I absolutely was.
You know, if you don't show up to court, what happens?
They would, if I still had a hearing there, if I had not paid that money, I would have been held in contempt.
That man said he
You
paid.
called Heather to confirm she got paid?
I did not, ma'am, and
Wait,
nor did attempt.
You called Heather to confirm she got paid?
I did not, ma'am, and nor did she call me, nor
This prosecutor's really good. This prosecutor's really good. I am probably gonna put her, as far as prosecutors go, I actually need to look up her name. I never looked up her name. She's the top of the list for me. After her, it's a tie between Brandon and the older prosecutor that was on the ASAP Rocky trial. But yeah, she's very good. She follows up well and she knows her case. She definitely knows her case.
did she come to the house that we had shared that I continued living in for 9 months afterwards.
You have been exchanging a series of emails back and forth with Heather for days leading up to that court hearing, correct?
I don't believe I had. No, ma'am.
It's your testimony you didn't.
No, ma'am.
Nick Kassotis is not.
Ms. Thomas was following you repeatedly to the point that you thought that she was actually potentially one of the people causing you trouble.
Yes, ma'am.
But you think she just evaporated?
Because I believed she had gotten the money that she wanted.
Then tell us why she would be a danger to you.
At that point, I no longer believed that she was a danger to me.
When was that?
That was shortly around the time that I believe the payment had been made to her, and she stopped contacting me altogether. Never came by the house, never called my phone.
But you just told this jury that Jim McIntyre was looking into it for you.
He was, and he said that he had determined that
Oh, no,
Heather-
they should have actually just brought out Jim McIntyre to take the stand. That's what they should have done. They should have brought Jim McIntyre. This man should not have taken the
was
stand.
not involved and that he had wired the funds.
Let's talk about your marriage license,
Okay.
the application 1.92.
What about it?
Absolutely.
You listed people that are not your parents, correct?
At the time, I believed them to be my
I don't know. This man has too many issues.
parents.
They're sitting in this
parents?
courtroom now, right?
Yes, my parents are.
You don't disbelieve that Linda and Wayne Kassotis are your parents?
Not anymore, no, ma'am.
And with all due
This
respect
has to be really difficult for Nick's parents.
to your father sitting here, that's the man you moved 100 plus times because you were afraid of?
I wouldn't say 100 plus times, but yes, ma'am. We moved probably 50 times because I was terrified.
Well, the 2 times that you just talked in direct testimony, you said 15 to 25 times twice, and then moved countless other
Yeah,
times,
mom looks like she's on the verge of tears.
correct?
I wouldn't say countless other times, ma'am.
Well, your recollection was every time you moved a week, right? You could tell this jury when you were in each different place, correct?
Yeah. I have because we move so often, it's actually pretty easy for me mentally to remember where we were when, because
Nick,
oftentimes we were only in a
I don't
place
believe that, and you know you don't believe that.
for 2 days. So if you
He
remember
said
where
what?
because we move so often, it's actually pretty easy for me mentally to remember where we were when, because oftentimes we were only in a place for 2 days. So if you remember the 4th of July happened while you were in that house, you know when you were there.
I don't know that.
But you don't remember your wife's doctor.
Ooh,
No, ma'am.
ooh.
Let's just be clear, 2.32, this is Mindy, right?
Absolutely, ma'am.
During your interview with law enforcement,
Wow. I'm
you didn't even ask what happened to her.
I did ask, ma'am. During the first interview, I asked what happened to Mindy, and Mr. Sands told me that at this time he did not believe that I presume you, the district attorney, wanted to make that information public.
You didn't ask about your baby either.
I don't have to argue with Nick. Let's just move on.
Did you?
No, ma'am.
Not once in 2 hours and 10 minutes, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And not once in almost 2 hours in Liberty County, correct?
Well, ma'am, in Liberty County, as you all saw, was the time I was told that Mindy had not been pregnant when she died.
Until they told you, you didn't ask about the baby either, right?
No, ma'am.
You told your in-laws that your wife died December 1st of 2022, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Immediately after I was told, I went back to the house and told them.
And then the next day you went and got your car washed, or was that the same day?
I don't know. The thing about Nick, though, it sounds like he believes whatever he's telling the prosecutor. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it sounds like he actually believes what he's saying.
I'm showing 1.110.
I don't recall what day that was, ma'am.
Well, that is your car, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So after you found out your wife was dead, you went to the car wash. Is that right?
Apparently, ma'am.
Well, that is your bank record, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, at some point I went and got my car washed. I don't
He did not think this through. I don't know. His attorney should have prepped him for cross-examination. That's what they should have prepped for.
recall getting my car washed, but I may have. It appears I did.
And you went and picked up some beer, right?
Somewhat?
Yes,
Beer?
ma'am. I was drinking probably a scary amount at this point.
Scary amount. A mega pint. A mega pint. So if you're going back to Johnny Depp.
During your direct examination, I didn't hear any reference to 2.44 or 2.43, the rug, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
You don't dispute that
How do you explain that?
this rug is the one you left the house with, 2.44?
No, ma'am. That looks right.
And 2.43 is what was there when you got there?
I believe so, ma'am.
And you replaced these because you said Rusty threw up on it?
Yes, he always had kind of a stomach that was
Rusty.
sensitive to eating too much, and he was known to beg for food. So sometimes
I'm sorry. Let us go back. He said, what? This is just hands down. This is my case of 2025. I don't know that we'll see a better case or case with as many issues or turns and twists, suspense as this case. But this is my case of 2025. In a close second, we have Colin Griffith. Colin Griffith was actually my number one case for 2025 until Nick Kassotis came along.
I believe so, ma'am.
And you replaced these because you said Rusty threw up on it?
Yes, he always had kind of a stomach that was sensitive to eating too much, and he was known to beg for food. So sometimes Betsy and Frank would overeat him, and he would get sick.
You didn't just clean the rug?
No, ma'am. Mindy had put it in a plastic bag and stuck it out back because it smelled. And by the time I had time to try to clean it, 2 days had passed and the entire thing.
He thinks on it. He thinks on his feet, though. he really thinks on it. I don't know, Nick. He said, "Sorry, I need to go back." He's like giving us a 12V moment right here.
You said Rusty threw up on it?
Yes, he always had kind of a
That's 12V.
stomach that was sensitive to eating too much, and he was known to beg for food. So sometimes Betsy and Frank would overeat him, and he would get sick.
Okay.
You didn't just clean the rug?
No, ma'am. Mindy had put it in a plastic bag and stuck it out back because it smelled. And by the time I had time to try to clean it, 2 days had passed and the entire thing smelled absolutely awful.
Had nothing to do with the blood that was underneath the rug, right?
There was no blood underneath the rug.
Okay.
Well, you saw the photographs here, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it your testimony that law enforcement somehow put Blue Star on the floor of that house?
Ma'am, I have no idea what blood that is or when it was there. And unfortunately, law enforcement never tested that.
Right. And so the blood on the futon that was Mindy's?
I have no idea how that blood got there, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't spend a lot of time in that room, so
You lived in the house, right?
yes, ma'am.
It was also your testimony that initially Jim was an FBI agent, right?
I believed he was for, gosh, 2 years, over 2 years.
And at some point you determined that he was not, correct?
Yes.
You didn't move after you figured that out, right?
No, as I testified, we had a big argument about whether or not we should, stop dealing with them altogether.
You also didn't move after your father and uncle showed up at your house, right?
That is correct.
The father
You
actually
were
show up.
moving hundreds, or at least, my apologies, at least 50 times,
Yes,
correct?
ma'am. Yes, at least 50 times, definitely.
Over 7 years, correct?
It's a lot of money.
How long was it?
I have 5 years. Yeah.
5 years. So over 5 years, you kept moving because that man was your threat.
Yes, ma'am.
And when he showed up at your door
All right.
with your
We're gonna
uncle-
have to get back to direct. I don't know that I'll do it here. Maybe I'll listen to this during jury deliberations tomorrow. But for why was he afraid of his father? What danger did his father pose?
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't move.
No, ma'am. I asked to.
So at this point, you actually knew he knew where you were.
Yes, ma'am.
You ran out the back.
After I talked to Jim, yes, I departed via the back of the house.
Right. You said you called Jim, didn't you?
Yes, on Signal. But you can make voice calls or I believe even video calls now through Signal.
But yet when law enforcement spoke to you the first time in Pennsylvania, you said he just showed up,
Did
right?
forget?
No, ma'am.
Law enforcement specifically asked you, how did Jim know where to find you? And you said he just showed up.
No, ma'am. I said it didn't take him long to get there, which I thought clearly indicated that I had contacted him. But apparently there was some confusion on Mr. Sand's part. He then later said that I was clearly asked that twice, and I've listened to that interview about 40 times, and I've never heard it asked even once, clearly.
You've had access to all this material, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You knew what the state's case was, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No documents here with you today.
No, ma'am.
You indicated at some point that it was very important for you to figure out who of Mindy's friends would need to know, correct?
Absolutely, ma'am.
And you reached out to each of them, correct?
I did.
It's your testimony, you had no idea that Mr. Frank and Mrs. Betsy thought you were dead?
No, ma'am, I did not.
So I'm showing you 1.87 and 1.88.
Is that an email?
We'll take a look at them.
Yes, ma'am.
You've seen them before, right?
Yes, ma'am. I saw them when they were provided in Discovery.
Oh wow.
Did you see the email address on that?
I do, ma'am. Yes.
That's Apis Limited, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That would be the same address that you claimed was Jim McIntyre, correct?
I believe he had an APIS, but I'm not sure that I did not regularly email with him personally. So I believe at some point I saw an APIS limited address for him as he was reaching out to Frank and Betsy. But
Well, you just told the jury you worked for
Wait,
Apis
what?
Limited.
So
right?
wait. I don't know. Hold on. Let's go back.
that I did not regularly email with him personally. So I believe at some point I saw an APIS limited address for
Are you saying that you saw this through Discovery, or did Jim show it to you?
him as he was reaching out to Frank and Betsy. But
Well, you just told the jury you worked for Apis Limited, right?
yes, ma'am. I believe so.
You got that employment verification from
This man is making my head spin. Literally.
Marcus Jones at Apis Limited, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And you believed you were working for Jim McIntyre, right?
Absolutely, ma'am.
That he was preserving all of your funds in a trust, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you bring the trust documents here?
No, ma'am.
In order to start a trust, Mr. Kassotis, as an attorney, you know that there are actual documents you need to sign, right?
Absolutely, ma'am.
You never preserved any of those?
At some point, I lost them. I don't know exactly when,
Oh my. I should not be laughing. I'm sorry.
but I had them and I provided them to Miss Thomas on at least one occasion.
Actually, when you went to court, you didn't provide the court with anything, did you?
I don't believe I was asked to.
That would be a no?
Yes, ma'am. That would be a no.
But you told the court you had $32 million.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Did you ever ask Jim to show you a copy of the check that he sent to Heather or the wire to pay her off?
Absolutely. I saw bank records showing a wire transaction to her.
And you saved all those?
No, ma'am. I believe I've been pretty clear about that.
Well, Heather was all but, from your description, stalking you for the money, right?
She was energetically looking
Energetic.
for it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So energetically looking for it, you didn't think it was important to hold on to a copy of those?
No, ma'am. As I said, I stayed in that house for another 9 months. The house that Heather and I had shared when we were married, and never heard from her. She never stopped by. She never called my phone. I assumed that was over and done with.
At that point, you had moved and changed your name and your driver's licenses in 2 additional states, correct?
No, ma'am. This is years before that.
Okay. Now,
Oh, boy.
initially, I believe you told us that you contacted the FBI, and that's when Jim showed up, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And if I recall correctly, what you said was you were very happy because normally you don't get any traction on a case like this.
Yes, ma'am. That was my fear.
But then Jim McIntyre, according to your testimony, spent the next 2 years acting as your basically personal assistant,
Right.
social media provider, financial advisor, and Microsoft purveyor, correct?
I'm not sure I would use all of those, but he was somebody that we were dealing with very closely throughout all of this.
You thought that an FBI agent just decided to take you on with a case you didn't think that he was actually even going to investigate?
I had been worried that he wouldn't investigate it. I was very happy that it was being taken so seriously.
And it's your testimony to this jury that after 10 years in the JAG,
What was Jim McIntyre supposed to actually investigate? Maybe that's what I'm missing here.
you believed he was an FBI agent.
Absolutely. And I've dealt with law enforcement, both the state, the local, and federal law enforcement extensively. There was nothing that concerned me at that time.
So let me make sure I get this straight. Initially, you thought that the risk, based on your testimony, was because of the Washington Post article.
Absolutely, ma'am.
Then you thought it was Wayne, correct?
No, ma'am. Then we started looking at others. We looked at an ex-boyfriend of Mindy's, Heather, my ex-wife. Then we looked at a former boss of Angela's who had
Who's
tried
Angela?
to assault Mindy. He was a very kind of rich and powerful man. And then,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
and it wasn't until after we had exhausted those leads that he started looking at our immediate families.
So when Jim McIntyre, you determined did not work for the FBI, he promptly told you how he knew to come and see you and Mindy, right?
No, ma'am. And that is one of the things I've thought about extensively over the last 27 months.
What's the question?
It did not work for the FBI. He promptly told you how he knew to come and see you and Mindy, right?
No, ma'am. And that is one of the things I've thought about extensively over the last 27 months as this case has gone on. That as to how he entered our life, I never followed up. And there are frankly a lot of
Alexis,
mistakes
stop.
I've made over the last 7 years of my life that I spend a lot of time thinking about.
He just showed up at your house and said he was the FBI.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to say. All right.
You heard testimony about Cameron Nelson's credit card, the Capital One card, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It's your testimony that all of those charges were being made by Jim McIntyre?
The majority of them, not all of them.
The Uber Eats purchases that came to the house in Savannah, those are done by Jim
Wait,
McIntyre?
so he took Cameron Nelson's credit card information and shared that with Jim McIntyre? I don't know.
We were never in Savannah while we were using, well, anything was being charged to Cameron's card.
Are you sure?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And all of those transactions, the Uber car rentals, were those Jim McIntyre too?
The Uber car rentals?
Yeah, Uber.
I don't know anything about those, ma'am.
You never took an Uber on a credit card?
I have taken Ubers before. I have never, during this time, I never took an Uber, no.
So if the bank records show you taking Ubers and going places,
Alexis,
that wasn't you?
That was not me, correct.
Okay. You have an Uber app on your phone, correct?
I do now, yes.
So it's your testimony you never had an Uber app on your phone in 2022?
In 2022, I did. I'm sorry, I thought we were talking about Miss Nelson's credit card.
I
Are you
asked-
talking about my bank records or Miss Nelson's? I'm just not clear.
I'm talking about your bank records.
Oh, okay, yes. My bank records, yes. There were times I took an Uber.
But you told this jury you were afraid to leave the house, right?
Yes, ma'am. Every time I went out, it was scary.
But you fought through the fear and jumped in an Uber?
oh wow.
If I had things that needed to be done, then yes. I thought it was my job to take care of those things.
Alexis,
You didn't call Jim and say, hey, Jim, I need a ride. Get me to this location. You're my security detail?
No, ma'am. Sometimes he would drive me places, but
where
for
did you drive?
regular errands, no. That was something that I dealt with. Either I had Mr. Frank Mebane drive me, or I would call an Uber.
Right, because on November 29th, you clearly went to Home Depot by yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am. At that point, I had a car, so I was not taking Ubers anywhere.
And it's your testimony to this jury that you never paid Jim McIntyre 1 penny. For how many years of service to you?
I believed that we were both benefiting from this.
That's not what I asked you. I asked you if you paid him.
No, I did not.
So in all of the years that he
Yes,
worked
the
with
government was
you
paying.
never paid him.
No, ma'am.
And it was your testimony you met Frank first, or rather you met Jim first in Virginia, correct?
Yes, Alexandria, Virginia.
And then he followed you to what state next?
We saw him multiple times in Virginia. Then later we saw him in South Carolina and in Georgia.
Wait, what?
And then
Multiple injury-
Tony, you met Frank first, or rather you met Jim first in Virginia, correct?
Yes, Alexandria, Virginia.
And then he followed you to what state next?
We saw him multiple times in Virginia. Then later we saw him in South Carolina and in Georgia.
Okay.
And then you said you didn't see him much.
Yeah, I believe I only saw him once, maybe twice when I was in Delaware.
Okay.
All right.
It was your testimony to law enforcement, or your statement, I should say, to be clear, that Jim McIntyre handled your finances the entire time.
Yes, ma'am.
That included setting up all of your Airbnbs, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Except the one in Savannah, because you bought that one, right?
Yes, ma'am. And there were two at the very beginning, one in Alexandria and one in Charlottesville that I set up personally.
Well, and don't forget the one in Hilton Head that you got for Frank and Betsy afterwards in your name too, right?
Yeah, that wasn't an Airbnb, but correct. I did set up that rental.
In the name Kassotis, right?
Yes, ma'am.
While you were still afraid that people were coming after you. And your wife now was already dead.
Yes, ma'am.
And you're still using your name Kassotis.
That was my legal name at the time. Yes, ma'am.
And you said when you got the $300,000 from Sony, you didn't pay Cameron, right?
Correct, ma'am.
You didn't pay Heather, right? You thought that was
He
paid.
should have written more stories, or maybe he is. I don't know. But Nick should have written more stories because obviously he has such a great imagination that somebody would actually pay him six figures. So, yeah.
Paid,
I thought that was paid, ma'am.
right? At that point, that money was the money you and Mindy were living on, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Jim McIntyre didn't control that money, correct?
No, he did not. He said he was monitoring it and taking actions to prevent it, but he did not control that
What
money.
on earth?
So you did have $300,000 to your disposal, at least on June of 2022.
Absolutely. That was a non-negotiable point for us, was that we get to control our own money.
Now, you talked about mosquitoes, right?
Absolutely, ma'am.
When you had problems with mosquitoes, that was when you first moved in, right?
It had started when we first moved in, but it got worse in, I want to say, mid-August.
Can you tell the jury how expensive the Airbnb was? How much did that cost?
I think it cost about $4,500 a month, but I could
Oh,
be mistaken.
no. You could have gotten
You called the owner, right, to get her to fix the mosquito problem.
No, ma'am.
You decided to fix that yourself?
Yes, ma'am. This was a rule that we had for several years.
Oh, I guess I actually have to watch the gist of Direct to figure out what the mosquito problem is.
At $4,500 a month, you took on handyman jobs.
Absolutely, ma'am.
It was also your testimony that Mr. Frank and Mrs. Betsy left the residence the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And they returned on that Sunday?
Yes, ma'am. That is the best of my recollection, but I'm pretty certain about it.
Well, you testified under oath to that,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So if you weren't sure, you would have told us that,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
There's also your testimony that your wife went into the hospital on Saturday, that weekend, correct?
I believe it was Saturday. There's a slight chance it could have been Friday, but I thought about this a lot. I'm relatively certain it was Saturday.
Well, you just, again, testified under oath.
Yes, ma'am.
It was Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't give us an equivocation earlier,
Yes,
did you?
ma'am. No, ma'am, I did not.
And you said it was Saturday, correct? And you said that her parents came back on Sunday,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
You never told them what hospital, right?
No, ma'am. I don't believe they asked either.
No, we know they didn't ask.
And then it was your testimony that you talked to Mindy Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, correct?
I believed I talked to Mindy.
Okay. So that was a yes.
Yes, ma'am. I am uncertain. I think I've been pretty clear that I don't know if it was Mindy or not. It was a message from
Wait,
Mindy.
what? So somebody is pretending to be Mindy?
I think I've been pretty clear that I don't know if it was Mindy or not. It was a message from Mindy's Signal account.
But you could have called her on the Signal account, right?
As I said, I tried to call her, but she didn't have a good enough signal where she was, so we couldn't hear each other.
Signal did not have signal.
But you never talked to her after she went in. So how would you know that?
As I said, I tried to call her, and when we could not
Oh.
verbally talk, we messaged each other via Signal.
And then you went to pick her up on December 1st, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You heard testimony from Dr. Mondor that on December 1st, she was already dead, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have no reason to disbelieve Dr. Mondor's estimation, do you?
I do not, ma'am. No.
Why did this man get up this? Why did he get on the stand? Just why?
Which is why I have said I do not think I was talking to Mindy for most of that week.
Oh, okay.
And when you went to the birthing center and they told you that Mindy had passed, you didn't see Mindy, correct?
Correct, ma'am. I asked to, and I was told I was not able to at that time.
You never once referenced the baby during your direct examination when you talked to the doctor.
Well, ma'am, at this point, I've learned roughly a little over 2 years ago that there was no baby.
Wait, what?
We didn't mention it to law enforcement either when they first approached you.
No, ma'am. I guess I did not. believe we talked about the pregnancy quite a bit, but not specifically the baby.
Not on the first interview, Mr. Kassotis. You didn't.
I'm relatively certain we talked quite a bit about how Mindy was pregnant and where I thought she was. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all you can say. There's no need to argue.
Now, when you went to pick up your wife's ashes,
Hmm.
you indicated that was in Alabama,
Yes, ma'am. Montgomery, Alabama.
and you gave him $5,000 cash.
I've been
Yes,
out
ma'am.
there.
No paperwork,
No, ma'am.
no name.
Montgomery,
Sorry,
Alabama.
no
He
name,
didn't
ma'am?
give you his name?
He might have, ma'am. I'm unsure. I don't remember. It was a very brief meeting.
You received your wife's ashes on the side of the road, and you didn't get the man's name?
No, ma'am. I was pretty angry at him.
You're an attorney at the time, right?
No, ma'am.
You weren't a lawyer at that time?
No, ma'am. I was not licensed at that time.
Well, you.
Okay, so I have
Put your
questions. What happened to his license? I suspect something happened. I just don't know what. My goodness, Kassotis.
It's on hold, essentially.
Hold on, I
And
need to go
didn't
back.
get the man's name?
No, ma'am. I was pretty angry at him.
You're an attorney at the time, right?
No, ma'am.
You weren't a lawyer at that time?
No, ma'am. I was not licensed at that time.
Well, you had put your license on hold, essentially, right?
Yeah, I had given up my Virginia license, but Massachusetts allows you to retire your license, and then if you want to turn it back on later, you just have to pay as if you were an active lawyer for all the years in between. So I am still to this day a retired attorney in Massachusetts.
You didn't forget how to be a lawyer, is my point.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And receiving your wife's ashes on the side of the road in Alabama for $5,000 cash, you didn't think you needed any documents as an attorney?
No, ma'am.
That's wild. If that's what he testified to, that is incredibly wild. He did what? I need to listen to direct. I'm gonna have to listen.
A retired attorney in Massachusetts.
You didn't forget how to be a lawyer, is my point.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And receiving your wife's ashes on the side of the road in Alabama for $5,000 cash, you didn't think you needed any documents as an attorney?
No, ma'am. I was pretty angry about the entire exchange.
That was a no, correct?
Correct, ma'am.
That's just wild.
And I just want to make sure I understand, your car burst into flames in the condition we saw it in this courtroom on your way to purchase a house,
Yes, ma'am.
and you never bought the house.
No, ma'am.
That's a real estate transaction, correct?
That is a real estate transaction. Yes, ma'am.
Those require written documents, correct?
Absolutely, ma'am.
You lost $50,000, you said, right?
I did, ma'am.
You have no records of that?
Ma'am, you have all my banking records. You can see the EMD coming right out of it.
Right. And your testimony is you don't have a record reflecting anything concerning that transaction that day?
Ma'am, you have all of my electronics, and that's how all these
Oh,
documents
yes, I
were. They
know.
were e-signed.
Well, actually, withdrawn. You never bought the house, right?
Correct, ma'am.
Because you had a check for $860,000, I believe you said, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That you said burnt up, right?
Along with parts of me, ma'am.
And when Investigator Frost said to you, what was so important that was in the car that you opened the door? Do you recall that?
It was my phone, ma'am.
Not the check for $860,000.
Yeah, that's what I wondered, right? When Samantha testified, said the man entered the house, he was missing an eyebrow, yet he still had his phone. I had questions about that, but the check burnt up. Too many turns and twists in this
Ma'am, in
case.
that moment, all I was trying to do was call for help.
You didn't care about a check for $860,000?
I absolutely cared about a check for $860,000. At that moment, I was trying to call for help. I did not realize that my car was about to burst into flames.
Detective Frost had to tell you about the check, didn't he?
No, ma'am. I remembered the check. I thought we were talking about something else.
just want to make sure I confirm something. The police report against your father for the name change in Missouri,
Yes, ma'am.
that was September 30th of 2022, the incident, correct?
I believe so, ma'am. Yes.
When you are a victim of domestic violence, as alleged, that allows you to seal the name change, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
If you had not had a police report reflecting the need to seal it being domestic violence, you couldn't have gotten it sealed, right?
Well, ma'am, I thought there were many other reports at this time, but yes, I did rely on that one when I got it sealed. Yes, ma'am.
You submitted it, right?
Absolutely. Along with my medical records, I believe, from the assault in Virginia.
Somebody's phone is going off.
And Mr. Kassotis, when you received Mindy's remains, you had testified that it was so important to you and Mrs. Mevin to figure out who would want to be notified, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You promptly called them to schedule them to be present when you distributed her ashes, right?
No, ma'am.
Hang on just one moment.
Wait, what was the question?
To be notified, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You promptly called them to schedule them to be present when you distributed her ashes.
Oh, I see
right?
what you're saying.
No, ma'am.
Hang on just one moment. Mr. Kassotis, in anticipation of today's date, you located Mr. McIntyre, right?
Uh-oh.
No, ma'am.
Oh,
So you've been talking to him basically on and off for,
I thought he was.
since what,
yeah.
2017?
I started talking to him in fall of 2017, I believe, and we last spoke in, I want to say, mid-April of 2023.
And the records for Apis Limited, you subpoenaed those records in anticipation of court, correct?
No, ma'am.
You know what a subpoena is as an attorney, right, sir?
I do, ma'am.
And you knew that Mr. McIntyre was a majority investor, I think is the phrasing that you used, right?
That was what I believed, ma'am.
You hired a private investigator to find him?
No, ma'am. I hope the state would do that, but y'all don't really care that much.
He wants the
Objection, Your Honor, move to
prosecution
strike.
to find.
It's argumentative.
Wait, what?
Didn't really care that much.
Object.
I hope-
And you knew that Mr. McIntyre was a majority investor, I think is the phrasing that you used, right?
That was what I believed, ma'am.
You hired a private investigator to find him?
No, ma'am. I hope the state would do that, but y'all didn't really care that much.
Sheesh.
Objection, Your Honor, move to strike. It's argumentative.
We see you all at the bench.
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Mr. Kassotis. Uh-oh.
One moment. I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, is that it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. This one's going to be very
Ooh.
quick. So if you go out with the bailiff, we'll have you in back in just a few minutes.
All right. Well, I don't know what to say about that one. That was some pretty efficient cross-examination. I don't know what comes after this, but Nick should not have taken the stand. Let's see what people are saying in the comments. Okay, until one has been exposed to be a full blown narcissist, it's hard to comprehend them. This, ladies and gentlemen, is one. Okay. Uh, somebody's gonna write a book, apparently. Apparently, this will be a quick verdict. Somebody is diagnosing him with an assortment of personality disorders. I cannot make sense of Nick Kassotis. I cannot make sense of him taking the stand. I just can't make sense of it. Cannot make sense of it. Somebody said the Social Security office doesn't do anything in 24 hours or less. That's actually true. He believes he had either Medicaid or Medicare law. Those are two totally different programs, and he is a little too young and a little too rich to be eligible for either. I don't know about the rich part. We don't know about the rich part. Let's see. Okay, a lot of folks are calling this man a liar. They are calling him a lying lawyer, okay? I don't see people defending Nick, which is a bit surprising because oftentimes there's always somebody in the comments having a that holds the opposing view. I don't know if they're trolling or not, because even with the AG trial that concluded last week, when I listened to Sheila AG on the stand and I listened to the defense, no, I think it was mostly her on the stand. I was like, I don't know about Sheila. I still could not make sense of her disclosing the decedent's address to her son, but there are a few comments back and forth about whether she should have been found guilty, but for Nick, I don't see any sympathy for this man. Okay, here's a not guilty. Okay, I don't know if they're trolling or not, but somebody said not freaking guilty. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what to make of Nick, but I did come across, let me see if I can still find it. I was on Reddit earlier. Let's go back to Reddit. Hopefully I find it. But somebody had posted his short story, the story that he got $300,000 for. Let's see, Core TV. Oh, found it. This is from 9 hours ago. They said Nicholas Kassotis' short story he mentioned while testifying, my mother-in-law was poisoning me. Then I found out why. Okay, so let's find out. This was from 4 years ago, so I don't know if this is really Nick or if it's somebody else. But let's get into it. Apparently, everyone has their own nightmare in law story. Not even mother-in-law, it's just a nightmare in law story. Though I couldn't imagine how bad mine would be. As it turns out, the worst thing wasn't my mother-in-law poisoning me. The worst thing was why she did it. I met Craig on one of my rare vacations, and we had sort of a whirlwind relationship. We fell hard for each other. Now, I don't know, is he supposed to be a woman in this story, or is this actually somebody else's story? Anyways, we fell hard for each other and were married in a courthouse wedding within 2 months without ever meeting each other's families. Mine visited a few weeks later, and after the initial shock, really liked Craig. While we got moved in together and figured out married life, I got to hear Alexa stop. I got to hear more about his parents who lived near. I don't even know that this is actually Nick. Hold on, let me keep going. Okay, but this does talk about Betsy. This talks about Betsy as the mother-in-law. Let me look up. Hold on. I'm gonna go to the person that posted this to see if this person is still active. Alexa, stop. Oh no, we found the writer, Nick Moorfox. Okay, I'm gonna have to come back up here tomorrow. Yep, this is Nick. This is Nick. We found Nick Moorfox. Uh, yep, this is Nick. So I suppose we can look up more of his stories. He has a story titled Monsters Under the Bed. Okay. Oh, wow. 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Let's see. Yeah, so 3 years ago, he comments on something about Sonny's 3,000 pictures, acquires film rights to I Think My Mother-in-Law is Trying to Kill Me. And wow, people are congratulating this person. We're going to dig into this stuff. I could do it right now, but I have to work in the morning. Wow. Wow. This is crazy. I like Reddit. Okay, he has some stuff about, yeah, he's been posting for sure. Let's see. Stuff goes back all the way 4 years. No activity of 5 years, 6 years, something called the Black Cloud. Oh, I think Samantha talked about the Black Cloud. Let's get into the Black Cloud. Oh, it's not available. Yeah, it's not available. I don't know why this was taken down. This is Reddit, though. Somebody should be able to get this back up. The comments are pretty interesting. Somebody said it was beautifully written. Okay. I wonder what the Black Cloud was about. Okay. 6 years ago, I can read mine. Someone is trying to kill me. Between the devil and the deep blue sea. All right. Let's keep going. All right. So he joined about 6 years ago. At least he started posting 6 years ago. There has been no activity on here the past 3 years. So, yeah. Yeah. Let's find him. I don't have Twitter. I don't know that this will take me anywhere. Oh, we found him. We found him. Let's see. Instagram. That's not going to take me anywhere. Page is not available. Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. Blah, blah, blah. I need Facebook to be able to log into that. I'm not creating Facebook. Well, we have found the man. We have found him. Yep. We found Nick. Should I follow? I don't know. That's a little weird. Follow the man so you can find that shit again. Okay. I'm following him for sure. Oh, wow. That is just crazy. Wow. Okay. All right. That's it. Let's reconvene tomorrow. We reconvene tomorrow. It is going to be a verdict watch. Maybe there'll be a verdict. Maybe they won't. I think the jury will return a verdict tomorrow. But if they don't, we're going to go down this rabbit hole. Okay. Somebody on Core TV asked, who the hell is Jim McIntyre? Did he testify for the prosecution? What am I missing? Another individual says he's a fictional character in a deranged mind. So, yeah. Oh, wow. This is just, this is something. All right, Benji, I'll see you tomorrow. Regular time, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Just a heads up, though, next week, Tuesday, I might be up here. Thursday, I won't be up here because I'm going to watch a WNBA game, okay? I'll be watching a WNBA game. So I'll be, eating hot dogs and whatever else people do when they watch basketball. All right, my dear, you have a fantastic Thursday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, my kid's gonna be bored, but I'm going to be watching basketball. So yeah. Actually, that's what I should do. I'm gonna get a beer. I'm gonna get me a beer. Okay. All right, Benji. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.